Hello students, hope all of you are doing well in this current situation of the COVID-19 outbreak and we are stuck at our home. Let's pray that this phase gets over quickly and we shall carry on the process of teaching and learning in this critical situation. So here I am continuing the lecture of the automata theory that we discussed in the last week. So today we are going to discuss about the push down automata, totally a new chapter. We totally concluded the finite automaton in the last lecture. So if you are going to have any queries regarding today's lecture or the previous lectures, you can contact me. Thank you. Just let's start. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about introduction to push down automata. So basically we are going to discuss about the basic concepts about push down automata today. We are going to look at the definition of push down automata, what are the constraints of it, why do we need push down automata over the regular finite automata, and regular grammar, what is the need of it. So let's begin. So we've already discussed about Chomsky hierarchy in our first lecture that was given in the class. So the Chomsky hierarchy basically talks about the basic languages that were introduced at the earlier stages. Then we tried to solve the complex problems and we introduced further machines and further languages and grammars that can deal with much complex problems. So you can see that the finite automata is in the base of the whole thing, and then we are proceeding to the push down automata for the problems that cannot be dealt with the finite automata, and then we are going to the lower bounded linear bounded automaton machine, and finally we are going to the Turing machine that will be able to handle most of the complex problems that are out there. So that is how formal languages are working in Chomsky hierarchy, and today we are going to discuss about the push down automata, and the consisting languages is called context-free language and the grammar is called context-free grammar. I have already discussed a part of it in your class, so try to revisit that. We'll again explore these things in our following lectures, but let's start with push down automata. Okay, so before going on to the discussion about the push down automata, we need to understand that why do we need push down automata and what are the restriction in finite automata that we are going to need push down automata. So in our previous lectures we have seen examples like this. Let's take an example that a language is given as AL equals to a to the power n, where n can be anything that is greater than equals to 1. Okay, so that means it can accept anything that is A, double A, triple A, anything can be accepted, but epsilon will not be accepted in these cases. Okay, so in this case the diagram will look like this. The transition diagram will look like this. That suppose this is Q0 to Q1. Now this is our final state. Okay. Okay, so we are applying A, and there is going to be a self loop, that is another A. Okay, so this is actually our initial state and this is our final state. So if we are going to apply a single A, in that case it is also going to over here. If we apply double A, triple A, also it is going to be accepted. But if we apply epsilon, there is nothing going to happen. So it is, this transition diagram is acceptable by finite automata. Actually, this is a DFA, I should mention. Let's take a similar example. Let's take AL equals to A to the power n, B to the power m, where n and m both are greater than equals to 0. Okay, So that means whenever we are going to see the languages that are going to be accepted, it will look like it is going to include, obviously it is going to include epsilon because it is greater than equals to 0. That means if even if it is 0, it is going to be accepted. So epsilon a b ab aab, anything can be accepted because uh, n and m are separate quantities, and they are not similar, so it can be 2 as a single b or single a 2b, anything can happen, but you have to keep in mind that whenever it is starting with a, it shall start with b. Okay. So in this case the transition diagram is going to look like this: q0 to q1, now whenever you are applying a single a, it should be accepted, but whenever we cannot apply a single b, right? We can apply a single b also. So whenever it is going to apply a single b, it is going to be accepted, it is going to go to q1, and if we apply multiple b's also, it is going to be accepted. So it can accept both double a double b, triple a triple b, or a single b, epsilon, anything, it will be accepted. Now up to this there is no problem, but the problem will arise over here when we are talking about a to the power n and b to the power n, and n is anything greater than equals to 1, let's say. Okay, so in these cases we cannot say that it is going to accept epsilon. No, it is not going to accept epsilon because of this thing. Now it, what are the languages of acceptance? It can accept AB, AABB, triple A, triple B, like this. Okay, so it goes on. Now what is the problem over here? The main problem over here is we don't know that what is the number of terms or number of inputs that are going to happen. Okay, we cannot anticipate that how many A's or how many B's are going to be entered. So if we are going to enter a single A, it should be a single B. If we are going to enter a number of A will be 2, then also number of B will be 2. Now this control is not happening inside finite automaton, right? This was done, the previous example was solved because there was no control over it. It can be anything as long as it is greater than equals to 0. There was no control. But here the number of inputs are going to be controlled, because if your number of A is 1, your number of B should be 1. If your number of A is 2, number of B is 2. So like this it is going to be controlled. So we don't actually know that how many set or how many number of inputs are going to be involved in these cases. So this cannot be solved using the finite automata, and this is where the concept of push down automata will come into play. So this is the actually the cleaner diagram that I discussed in the previous slide. So this is the failure case. Okay, up to this it was getting accepted, but here as the number are similar for actually the numbers are same for A and B, hence we cannot anticipate that how many input alphabets will be there. So that's why we cannot solve this using the finite automata, and we are going to need push down automata or upper languages for this. Okay, so what can I control in push down automata? obviously the example that we have seen can be controlled using the push down automata. I will discuss it later that how can I control the number of inputs or how can I anticipate it, but let's just look at the Chomsky hierarchy once more. In the Chomsky hierarchy, I can see that I can handle up to one input alphabet and their number of entries. Here I can control the number of set or number of input alphabet of up to 2. Here I can see that a, b, c to the power n can be controlled in linear bounded automata. And in this case for Turing machine, I can control when the power n is a prime. Okay. So that is the main difference between these four. We'll dig into further of this discussion in our later lectures. But let's carry on. What is push down automata and what is the definition? What are the constraints? Okay. So the push down automata is a type of automata that employs a stack. That means in the previous case, in the finite automata, we have seen that it is an automaton that is going to employ five tuples that are going to be used in our transition diagram and transition table, so that a language of acceptance can be gained and a problem statement can be solved. But in push down automata we go a bit further and we bring the concept of stack into the play of this thing. So you can say that a push down automata is basically a finite automata plus a stack, a concept of stack. Okay. A push down automata is way to implement a context free grammar. In similar way, we design DFA for regular grammar. As simple as that. That means whenever we are talking about CFG, the push down automata will come into play. A DFA can remember finite amount of information, but push down automata can remember infinite amount of information. This is happening because of the introduction of the stack. This stack can store infinite amount of information. So if I look at the diagram of push down automata, it is going to look like this. It is going to contain three components. One is an input tape, another is a control unit, and another is a stack with infinite size. Now if you remember, whenever we discussed infinite automata, we had only input tape, we had the finite control unit, we had accept or reject, but we didn't have the stack. This is the only gain from this push down automata, right? So what is the input tape? The input alphabets we give like A, B, like these are going to be kept inside the input tape. The stack, whenever we need something, we can just implement the pop instruction. It will be fetched over here. Whenever we need to store something, we'll push this into the stack and it will get stored over here. Control unit we are going to discuss later. Accept and reject is the language of acceptance. Okay. Now what are the tuples in push down automata? In finite automata we have seen that there were 5 tuples. That was finite number of states were there, input alphabets were there, transition function was there, initial state and final state was there. Here two more concepts that has been introduced. One is a tau, that is a stack symbol. This one, let me just highlight the new one. This one is the new one, and this one is the new one that has been introduced in push down automata. Now what we have over here, q is the finite number of state that we already had. Sigma is the input alphabet, that is like whatever we are pushing, a, b or 1 or 0. Delta is the transition function, that means whatever transition function we applied like in the previous case. Q0 is the initial state, we already had this, and F is the set of acceptance. set of accepting state. Like for in finite automata, we have seen that a comma b comma a b like this. Those are the accepting state. We have to look what are the accepting state for push down automata example. Now, tau is a stack symbol and z0 is the initial stack top symbol. That means whatever is staying at the top of the stack is going to be denoted using the z0, and tau is the total stack we are talking about. Okay. Now there are two types of push down automata. One is deterministic push down automata and another is non-deterministic push down automata. State of acceptance or language of acceptance can be achieved using two cases. One is whenever final state is reached. Another case is when the stack is empty. Okay, so that means it doesn't mean that whenever we are going to reach final state only then it is going to be accepted. If even if we don't reach the final state and our stack is empty, it is also going to be accepted. Now I have to mention something over here, that whenever we are discussing the deterministic push down automata and non-deterministic push down automata, this transition function is going to be changed over here. Okay, the transition function will have a change just in this part. Let me just write it. Instead of q, we are going to have 2 to the power q into tau star for this particular non-deterministic push down automata. So that was it for today's class, and we discussed some of the basic concept about the push down automata, what is the need of it. In the next lectures we are going to look at the examples that are going to be discussed throughout our lecture and throughout our syllabus, and how it is different than the finite automata. We need to learn that also. So we'll look at the examples and then we are going to the complex problems of push down automata. Then we finally will discover what is the actual difference between the deterministic and non-deterministic push down automata. Thank you. Stay safe, stay at home, and if you have any question, please text me or call me. Thank you. Catch you in the next one.